Hello, everybody. So glad you joined me. Hi, y'all. Okay, so now I'm telling y'all, I don't know everybody's Instagram name, okay? So I'm sure I probably know who you are, but I don't recognize you by your Instagram name, so please don't charge it to my head. Don't charge it to my pony. Don't charge it to my heart. Okay. Hey, Jesus Kid, Reginald, you in here? Hey, Elder B67, how you doing? Prophetess Margaret Green, you know what, girl? I love you. We haven't met yet formally, but I love you. You just encourage me so on your Facebook, you know, with your posts and everything. And I normally don't like that kind of stuff. I be like, ugh. But you be on it. You be on point. I think you know God. I think He know you. Hey cousin, you saying we cousins, so I'm just gonna go with it. Creative blessings. See, I don't be knowing everybody's butter. Please don't. You don't ever feel like singing. Please don't. Hi Brandon, thanks for coming over. Hey John Howard of the End Time Levites. Hey Lori, I know that name. Hey Indira, y'all tell me who y'all are so I can recognize the names. Now, I don't know where this flag is from. Bienvenue, Kamana. Where's that flag from? I like it. Where you from? Oh, God, y'all. I gave her a plate, the thing full of... What is it, Mama? Y'all, I gave my daughter... Wait, Reggie, don't hype me about this pony. Don't hype me because I might actually do this style for real. Get some good hair. Hey, Dame. Oh, hey, boo-boo. Love and Life 17. Hey, boo. Hey, Ernie. Goodbye. Get on my nerve. Hey, John. I know your name. John, I know you. Hi, boo. You know what, Wanda? I'm going to talk about these fruit snacks, Wanda bought my child and on another post, another live, because it's unbelievable. Hi Tatiana from North. Hey, Grace and Peace Hulk 2479. How you doing? Thank you. You like my makeup? Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. So Prophetess Green, my cousin shipped Jade, addressed to her, a box of fruit snacks with 80 pouches in it. 80. And when she saw it, her eyes lit up like Christmas tree. Oh, fruit snacks. Yeah, so she's hyped. She's real hyped about it. Thank you. I'm beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, Martha. Y'all, my stylist is on here. I'm not trying to be grand when I say stylist, like all that, but she really does get me together for the real, like, fancy stuff. Martha's on here. She's amazing. Hey, Milani. I love you. Yeah, the fruit snack killer, right? Hey, Lady Zaza, the fruit snack killer for real. Y'all, I done put cookies on her high chair. She got cookies. She got fruit. She got juice. She got fruit snacks. She got everything. So, whew, y'all, please just pray. If y'all know the word and the worth of prayer, please pray that she just stay quiet. Steve, can you not do this to me? No, I'm not singing. Get on my nerve. Hey, Chris. Y'all, my sister-in-law's on here. Hey, Key. Oh, thank you, Tina. Now, I'm going to just call you Tina, but Tina D. Pena, that's what I see. Thank you so much. Thank you. Key Savage, thank you so much. I tried to fix up, you know, for you guys tonight. Thank you. Okay, we're just waiting on our guests who should be in here shortly, and we're gonna get this live going. It's gonna be so fun. Hey, Demetrius. Now that y'all married folk, I hope y'all got y'all booze, y'all bays with y'all. This is not a session for the side chick, but you know what? The Lord might have, the only word for the side chick is get out the people marriage. That's the word of the Lord for you. In the name of Jesus. Ha! Pony! Demetrius, don't do it! Pony! Pony, yeah. God gave me a pony. God gave some of y'all a promise, but he gave me a pony. Ah! Woo! I felt that. Y'all felt that? But JJ Hairston, Pastor JJ Hairston is here. Hey, Ron. Hey, boo. Okay, y'all, we're going to get started. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Wait. Yeah. Go live with you. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting.
Okay, so
Hi.
wait. Were you just singing a pony song? I'm trying to figure out.
Yes. God gave me a pony, and I'm glad about it.
And I'm mad you got on like a full face, Melissa. It's like 9 o'clock.
Well, so here's the thing. I just feel like I just got to do my best. Well, I have a pajama pants.
So much pressure. Like, I had to put makeup on just because I knew.
Wait, I knew you was going to say it. But here's the thing, though. I was going to put on the most ridiculous jacket that I own.
I'm sure.
I mean, the shiniest with the most fringes and diamonds. But I said, I'm not going to do this.
Puff sleeves. I already see your puff sleeves.
Wait. Don't do this to me. Wait, but I got on pajama pants, though. Does that make you feel better? And they are pink.
But you got pink. You got pink.
Yeah, that's my lipstick. So, y'all, before we get started, I just need y'all to just pray on the inside that Jade does not act a fool. No. Joe is not here, okay?
It's bound to happen.
I'm by myself. He's at work. I wish he was here because he really needs to be in this conversation because I keep trying to tell him I'm perfect, but he don't believe me.
You need us to validate that.
Right. I mean, yeah. So that's your perfection. It. So, y'all, she has a high chair full of cookies, fruit snacks, juice, and fruit. It looked like Golden Corral in my kitchen. So I just pray.
You should have just brought her right on over.
Okay, so what's our time limit? I'm trying to figure out what's our J time limit. What do we get?
About 10 minutes.
I'm praying for a sugar sleep coma. That's what I'm praying for. Like, we could just. But anyway, we're going to get started. I'm so thankful that y'all came on because y'all are doing a lot with y'all lives. And so I'm just grateful. For real. This means a lot.
We family now.
I know. So, y'all, how long we been together? Like, let's see. Oh. It's over 10 years, right? I always forget.
I was going to say 20.
Yeah, because that was 2000. 2009 was the first record, so it has to be at least 12 years. Because you were singing ones before you recorded.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, yes. So it's been a long time. So yes, we are family, and of course I had to bring y'all on to talk about marriage because I admire your marriage. Always have. Even before the book came out, and I even before I still
before the great revelation.
I was like, well, do Lord Jesus. But I always, admire the way you all carried yourself as a couple, and you were there for my marriage from the beginning.
Absolutely. I remember because we have something at my dad's church, and Joe came. I think it was like my first time seeing him. We were singing at my. It was my first time. I was like checking him out or whatever. I was like, I think that's Melissa's boo.
First of all, Joe was skinny at that point. He was very skinny.
He was. I can't believe how he looked now. I'd be like, you been eating. And I've been eating too. Everybody eating.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all two are a real power couple. Not the kind where people call themselves power couple, but y'all really are. So y'all got 3 children, business partners. You are authors, and you are full-fledged pastors. How was that transition to going from being, you're still, it's not really a transition because you're still in the music industry and kind of doing all that, but doing all you both were doing before to becoming pastors, legit?
Honestly, I because we've been around the choir so much, and with JJ leading the choir for so long, it wasn't as hard of a transition, but now it's just more people and more lives that you're accountable for. But I think that we've both found our passion in it because actually, when we started out with the choir, I think it was more of a pastor thing. But now the group of people that we have in the choir now, they're all leaders in their own right. Like they literally actually don't even need any leading.
Yeah.
So
we do.
So the transition actually, it was not that hard. It's hard for me more to step out because I've taken such a back seat and I was very, very comfortable.
Right.
So that part of it is what's hard. But the group of people that we have leading both in YP and now in NYDC is so easy. Like I feel like God is jinxing me. Like I'm gonna wake up
like God, where's my group of crazies? Because I know they're coming. Every church got
any crazies yet.
They got a whole row full of crazies.
Right.
I think for me, the accountability is different, and the responsibility is different.
For sure.
Right now, we haven't really had the opportunity yet to feel the full weight of the responsibility because we had 2 services and then we went into the pandemic. So we all went into quarantine. Right. So basically, we're doing what every other leader is doing, preaching and singing and teaching from the house.
Yeah.
I think once we're able to start gathering again, we'll understand the gravity and the weight of what we're doing. But right now, it just feels like we're just sharing, what I mean? Sharing. And that's a lot more preparation. I used to be able to have maybe 1 or 2 days that I felt like were work days. But now it's like every day
of the week.
Can you believe? Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm working more now.
Full time.
Doing more. Day of the week is something.
I'm like, can the outside open up because I'm tired?
Right.
It's too much. I was up till like 3 o'clock this morning recording radio clips. And you got to send those in. I was recording a bunch of those. I'm like, oh God, I'm so tired. Like please, and then get ready for tonight. Like all these lives, it seemed like it just is more work.
One after the other. One Zoom, one live, all one after the other. And I'm like, Lord, I want to get outside so I can hear an organ and no more Zoom.
Right. Please. The only Zoom I want to hear is the bus going by the church. That's the only. I'm tired. Exactly. Oh my God! But I gotta say, y'all are consistent. Y'all have a legit word. Wow. Now, Jay, I always knew you had it in you. Like I always knew you had it in you, and I also knew that you didn't really want to go this way. Like this wasn't your goal to be like, I want to be a pastor. And those make the best pastor, the one that don't want to do it. So kudos to you.
I mean, he was in denial for years. If you say pastor to him, that would turn his stomach. He'd be like, no.
Yeah. But it was in you. You couldn't help it. But you have been doing amazing. You're preaching to the choir. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
You know what it is? I guess for me, I never wanted it because I respect the office so much. You know what I'm saying? There you go, Jade. I respect the responsibility so much, and I don't take it lightly. Having to be responsible for caring for people. Because for me, I think people consider pastoring like this position, and it's like this graduation from, okay, I'm an artist, now I'm going to become a pastor. That's not what it was for me. It's the caring and the serving of people that you now feel called to.
Yes.
And I wasn't looking for that smoke. You know what I mean? I was
I know good, you wasn't.
But to God be the glory. I praise God I praise God for City of Praise that still allows me to serve musically. So I can just go somewhere and be pastored and be led. So when I go serve, with NYDC, I have to actually exemplify what I've been seeing for the last couple of years. So it's been
amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing balance, an amazing place to be.
Yeah.
Like, and Trina.
Who you say? Who she? What's her name?
You sis. The one who I kind of felt like, did you quit the choir? I mean, because you didn't want to sing.
Right.
You ain't want to do nothing. Like, you barely even travel with us. And I mean, like,
but honestly, that was really because of my kids. I really had to zone in. We transitioned from Connecticut to Maryland. And of course, when we got to Maryland, I didn't have like as many family members and stuff here that I could lean on for my children. So that's what really pulled me away. And in that time, honestly, without even knowing about the pastor thing, I started studying. I started praying. Like, even though I was with my children and spending time with them, I was still able to have more time with God. Like, JJ would come home and there'll be like 3 or 4 Bibles on the bed. Like, I really had somewhere to go preach. See? But it was just, I was just retaining the word without even knowing what that preparation was for. See? Now, don't get me wrong. I still don't always feel prepared. But I'm just saying, I feel like it was a season where God was just taking me away from one thing so that he can kind of pour into me. And then, you know, this whole thing with pastoring came about. So I think that's why I'm more settled in it than what I normally seem to be.
Well, it shows, because you be praying. Damn.
Thank you.
I mean, whew, I
don't know where it comes from, Melissa. I really, really don't. Honestly.
From deep down on the inside, you were born for this. You were born and raised.
It has
You've been doing this for years.
It has to be God, because you know me. You know me. It has to be God, because you know Trina. You know that Trina would be somewhere.
You just not show up.
Let them have it.
She might not come.
Nikki, we love you. Let them have it.
Let them have it.
So y'all are killing it in that area, and I'm just truly proud of y'all. And I look at y'all, and I act like I don't know y'all sometimes, because I just be so happy, and I just feel like I want to cry, because I just love what y'all are blossoming into. So now I want to ask you about JJ. You've been on the road a lot. That's what you do. You be on the road. Trina's home a lot of times. Now we're in quarantine and everybody's home looking at each other 24 hours a day. A week. How?
This quarantine was doing us in. Like, seriously. We've been getting on each other's nerves so bad.
I thought it was just me and Joe. Because when I said it got spicy around here, it got real spicy tuna sushi roll, because I was like,
no. I'll be looking at him like, are you really biting your nails? Is that what you're doing?
Oh my God.
Are you biting your nails and watching a cartoon? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
My God. But I tell you, I guess it's different because I travel. Joe's the one that's home. So I travel, he's home. So, you know, certain things I know he does, but you know, it's like whatever. I ain't really, you know, I'm here. I'm going about 2-3 days a week. So it's like whatever. Now I'm like, oh, so you ain't gonna never put the peanut butter and jelly away, huh? You just gonna always leave on the counter, right? You ain't gonna never put the tops up ever.
You don't close no cabinet doors.
None.
Is that what you do? Just leave them all open? That's what you do?
You can do it too.
I don't leave no cabinet doors open. I close them. I close all the doors you open because
that is annoying. In the cabinet. I'm petty. Joe have them all open. I just slam them. And he look at me like
I
want you to know what I'm doing here.
I'm tired of your mess.
Trina even sweep hard. It's like
I do. Like, and I bang the broom on the floor. I'm so mad.
Trying to take the wood off the ground?
Time sweeping today. Nobody see them crumbs on the floor.
We just bought this wood. What are you doing?
Exactly. A brand new house.
You scratching the wood. We just got it.
I'm telling you. So, welcome to COVID-19 in the Hairston house. This is what we're dealing with right now.
Trying to tell you, I thought it was just me. I was like, I love him, but I need you to go to work. And this is the thing. He's been at work. But it's like when he get home, I'm like,
oh, you bad.
Oh, you ain't work all night. Oh, okay.
Right. No overtime, huh? Okay.
Yeah, you ain't gotta go to the funeral home, nothing.
I mean, it's an adjustment. It's a real adjustment, and to the point where we had to like pull away for a second and just be like, wait a minute. Let's not forget that we're actually in love. Let's start acting like we're in love with each other. And I had to literally let it go that he bites his nails, even though it gets on my nerves. Like, I had to let it go.
Like, that's a thing.
It is. It is a thing for me.
I'll be like, their marriage is suffering through some real stuff.
Wait, you should have been like, have you read our book? Do you know we've been through?
Exactly. But we gonna go down off the nails? Oh wow, this is bad.
It's like that though. It'd be the small things.
You're right. We had to, like, we found this spot now in our house that we go to where we're not allowed to bring work into that space. We don't. Sometimes we found out about The Office. I don't know why we have not been watching The Office.
Hilarious,
Melissa. When I tell you,
best.
We be sitting there holding our chest from laughing so hard.
Yeah, it was bad.
So we just found these little things that we didn't do before but we do them now because, and actually it works because I think we're closer now than we, if you can imagine, we're closer now than we've ever been
in our lives.
That's huge.
Yeah. But it just goes to show you that if you allow those little nuances to take over your marriage, they will. But the minute you realize that this is becoming an issue, you got to pull back and say, wait a minute, let's back away from this for a minute.
Right.
Let's get back to being in love. Like, you know, I know you probably can't do it because Jay always gonna be there, but I'm just saying, like,
she literally gets in the middle.
Yes.
When she senses anything about to take place, she come in the middle.
she got her senses up, like,
I mean,
CB
all day.
I'm gonna be an only child.
Right, right. Sure. But because we have older children, we can't lock the door and be like, no, this is our time or whatever.
Right.
And we sit there, we laugh, we talk, we do things that couples are supposed to do to help us stay together.
That is amazing. And that's what I know Jade is tiny, so it's going to take a while, but I do miss that part.
Yeah.
Like before baby, where we could just kind of be together and chill and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's all good. That's what grandma's for. We're going to take over there. You know, as soon as Corona has calmed down, praise God, and just for like 3 days. I'll figure out when she turned like 3. I mean, no big deal. So I want to ask you guys about how, because this is my mother always says, keep the honey in the moon. That's just all the time. Keep the honey in the moon. So like what are some ways that you all keep the honey, you know, in the moon that's going on in your marriage? Because your marriages get dull. I've been married 10 years, and I mean, I love my husband just as much as I loved him more than the day I married him. But some marriages get dull and boring, and people kind of just like grow apart because they forget to put that sugar back in the tank. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I'll start. I think that because we're business partners, it's easy to become partners and not friends, and not in love, and not be affectionate, because we're so busy working. Especially now, we have so much to discuss that's business related and church related and ministry related that we don't talk about what needs to happen between us. And we had to actually have a conversation that said we're going to prioritize our relationship over our relationships outside of this house. And it's so really changed the focus of what we do in our home. Now we still have our time where we take care of ministry and business, but then after a certain amount of time, we know we're going to our spot and we're going to watch TV. It's not always sexual either. I think everybody assumes that if you're going to be together, all intimacy is sexual, and that's not the case at all.
Who will do that all day long? I mean, you do something else.
I'm not saying it shouldn't happen.
Amen.
But if that's all that happens, then you'll act. What I've learned with Trina is she'll start to resent it because it feels like that's the only thing I want from her. So I've learned that our affection is outside of our bedroom at times.
That's true.
So we hug like all the time. We're always holding hands, laughing, talking in the house. And I think it's just changed our intimacy, even though we're in a confined space.
And I think for me is I had to learn how to never stop celebrating him. For as much as I complain, I always need to double that and compliment. Never stop making him feel like he's man of the house. Never stop making him feel like he's man of my heart. Never stop making him feel like, you know, my whole world spins around him. Like, seriously, like, there are ways for you to make your spouse feel like they are priority. Even in a really hectic and busy season, I never stop celebrating who he is to me and who he is to the body, right? Because when you have somebody who's in the light, they get compliments all the time. But then if they go home to somebody who can't find anything to compliment them about, that feels they're getting more praise outside of the home than they get in the home. So it's just like I told a girl the other day, I said, I don't care if your husband take the garbage out. Tell him that he is the best garbage taker outer ever.
That's
like,
so true.
Nobody can take the garbage out like you can. Nobody can make up this bed like you can. Nobody could, you know, do anything like you can do it. You have to find ways to celebrate your spouse.
And this is something I've learned a long time ago.
That is so true.
I've learned that women cling to and go to where they're appreciated. Men go to where they're celebrated. So if men always make sure they show appreciation to their wife, not just for the big stuff, but for the little things as well. And my appreciation for her for what she does is by taking part in it. Now, I've gone overboard because now she hates the fact that I'm decorating the house with her. But
wait, pause, hold it. What?
Yeah.
He just went to Target today and spent $400. As a matter of fact, I screenshotted it. I mean, I took a picture of the cash register because everybody always thinks that I'm the spender.
Well,
this thing has made him turn into like Nate Berkus. Like he want to decorate everything everywhere.
Well, you looking at Joe to call me shorty. I can't believe this.
Mel, I bought 2 candles and some razors. Don't you believe that? And the bill was $400.
Don't you believe that? Stop it. You know how Target gets you. Don't you believe
that?
No,
it do. Target has a spirit on it. I go in there for pencils and I come out with clothes. I come out with TVs. Just
oranges.
Like, what?
Right.
It got to be healthy. Like what?
Exactly.
Right.
It's a spirit. Yeah. It's a spirit on. But you know what I love? That y'all can laugh about it and y'all can communicate about it. Y'all can talk about it. And communication to me is so serious with a relationship, because when Joe and I first got married, I think that was one of our major problems, and we still have some hurdles with communicating because I think we just understand differently. Like I'm a talker and I want to explain everything, and sometimes when I'm talking, he'll tell me, all right, this ain't law school. Okay, this not university. Like I'm just, I'm going point by point. Like I'm not, I'm analyzing, and it seems like sometimes the message sent is not always the message received because, you know, I watch Dr. Phil. I'm also a psychologist.
Me too.
So
Me too.
I'm like, okay, so let me just ask him, like, okay, repeat back to me what I said. Mm-hmm. And then when he repeats it back, I'm like, I ain't saying that.
That's not what I said.
At all. Like, so how do you all deal with communication? How has it always been good between you two, or have you kind of had to work your way?
I think one of our biggest problems, I'll start from my side for communication, is this one thing. Sean Saunders is on here. That's our
he is.
Sean. Yeah. So one thing he said to me about when I teach is I'll take a scripture and I'll dissect it and make like 5 points out of it. That's just what I do, right? So for her, every time she says something to me, I'm dissecting it and making points. The points, what I hear out of what she's saying. So even though she said something that was very, very straightforward, and I should have just like taken it for face value for what it was, I'll take it and say, no, but what you really meant was this, and this. And she gets so frustrated by that because I'm always dissecting and reading between the lines. Mm-hmm. So I've had to learn how to not read and dissect everything she's saying and appreciate and understand what she's actually trying to communicate to me. That's been an issue on my side. So listening for me has been different. And not that I'm cutting her off, but listening to what she's saying without interpreting what she's saying. That's been a big issue on my side.
And I think for me, I have to learn how to be empathetic, because when he's talking, sometimes I get so riled up that all I can feel is what I feel. But it's so important to try to feel what somebody else feels when they're talking. Try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. But when you have an argument with somebody, you just stressing because you want them to see your point.
Yeah.
And and trust me, this is something, we've been married for 25 years, and this is something that we're still working on. Yeah. Because in the heat of the moment, I want you to realize my point. And now I'm learning, no, Trina, you need to realize what his point is. Let's look at it through his lenses. Did he interpret it the same way? Obviously not. So for me, I have to take myself out of myself and then see it from his point of view. And then I can understand why he may have interpreted it a different way. You're right. Communication is key, and it's tricky.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And every situation you go through is going to probably require you to have a different type of ear. You're going to have to hear what he's saying. Sometimes you have to communicate your point a different way.
That's right.
It's basically taking each conversation and figuring out what that communication needs to be so that you're on the same page.
And sometimes communication, the best part of communication is knowing when not to communicate. Because when you're angry, your feelings are heightened. Sometimes you just say, you know what, let's talk about this in a minute so we can get our heads together.
And here go me. No, I want to talk about it now.
Yes! Me! Say what you gotta say.
Say it
now.
See, but me, I have made a vow to her a long time ago that I'm not gonna be disrespectful to you verbally, physically, any way, shape, or form. I'm never gonna even raise my voice. So if I need to take myself out of the moment so you're not disrespected, that's what's gonna happen, because I just feel like words cut way harder than actions do. So, and you don't forget what's said. So you will never hear me say something disrespectful to her, because I'm always gonna walk away. Her, on the other hand, she want to get it out right now.
That's the New Yorker in me. I gotta get it out.
She's from Roosevelt, Long Island.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
I went to church in Brooklyn. It is the same. 170. Once you 170, you straight Brooklyn.
I'm so weak. But no, I get it. I feel like I want to just say what I have to say, and if I feel like it's need to take us until 3 o'clock in the morning, we need to talk. But I gotta say, as we have been married, I have kind of calmed down with that, because he kept saying to me, when I don't want to talk, I just don't want to talk, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Now, guess who we want to talk?
Right. Right.
Can I just say something? But I'm thankful for it, because at least he wants to communicate. You know what I'm saying? I could be married to somebody that don't care, don't say nothing, and just stewing it, and next thing you know, you divorce, and you try to figure out what the hell.
Exactly.
Right. And the thing is, him not wanting to talk in the moment doesn't mean he doesn't want to communicate with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Trina's had to learn. I'm not saying we don't need to talk about it. I'm not saying what we need to talk about is not important. I just know sometimes you'll be in that moment and you'll wind up arguing about the argument, not arguing about what actually is
that is so true.
Yeah. It becomes like we're arguing about why we're arguing.
Exactly.
And not about the
nothing
issue.
to do with the issue. Sometimes there's been times where I actually forgot what it was that originally brought us to argue. Yeah. Because I was already arguing about how we were arguing. So
you shouldn't be talking like that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Well, what was I talking about?
What we talking about? Which means we should not even be arguing in the first
place. Exactly.
Right.
So sometimes you gotta walk away from the moment.
True.
Yeah.
That is so true. Y'all, first of all, y'all are giving so much good wisdom right now. Everybody that's watching, I really hope that y'all are taking notes and writing this stuff down, especially if you're single, because they're trying to teach you how to find somebody and keep somebody, okay? Praise the Lord. It don't make no sense to just get married to be getting married so you can have some breath and britches in your bed, ladies, in the name of Jesus. That ain't worth nothing, that don't love you. You need somebody that's compatible for you, whom God has called you to be with. And truly, through everything y'all been through, y'all, it's almost like, I feel like it was good for y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What we learned in the times where I think we learned more in our season of separation than we did now. I mean, we're still learning. And that's why we try to tell everybody, marriage is not an arrival space. It's a journey. It's a journey. So you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always taking turns, you're always taking detours. It's always a journey. You're never going to get to this arrival space and think, oh, we made it now. Her parents, they've been married how long? 40 years?
60 years.
60 years.
Yeah. Jesus.
60 years.
And I still laugh.
They've been married for almost 2 of me.
Two of me. 60 years. And they still spat. Like they'll still, they love each other.
Yeah.
Right.
But of course, like they're still figuring out. There are days where, and you got to remember, when you committed to be with somebody for the rest of their life, their needs are going to change.
Yeah.
That's right.
What I needed when I was 20, 30 years old, now I'm a different age. I may need something a little bit different.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible in loving your spouse and even the way you love them.
Yeah.
There was a time where all I wanted was flowers. Now I can't stand them, or, now I want them. It's something that's always going to change.
Right.
So you can't pin a person down and be like, you changing on me. Yeah, I am. I'm growing. Right. You're supposed to. You're supposed to evolve. We're ever evolving in marriage.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And her level, the support she needs now is totally different than what she needed when she was 20.
Wow.
She wasn't thinking about praying and preaching before. She would just want to, go to the bank and work and make sure we were going to go to the movies later. So what she needed then is so much different than now. And if I just said, well, I'm doing what I did before, then I'm not successful and I'm not being empathetic as a husband. So I need to learn to love her in all spaces, in all phases. Otherwise, I'm not a successful husband.
Yeah.
I need to write that down. Love her, love each other in all spaces and all phases.
Sean is on here. He'll keep us reminded.
Wow. Yeah. I see another book. Speaking of books, your book, A Miracle Marriage.
Yes. Oh my God.
A Miracle Marriage. First of all, y'all that are watching, if you don't have their book, you need to go download it or purchase it, get a hard copy. This book is, first of all, it's beautifully written. You all did a wonderful job. And I love the way it goes back and forth between your accounts and just it's Trina's truth and JJ's journey. Like, I love how it goes back and forth, because a lot of times the same story can be told differently. You get it from two different perspectives, you know what I'm saying? And once you see how both were dealing with one situation, you'll realize why they behaved the way they did or why they thought about it the way they did. So I love that part about your book. What I want to know is that in the beginning you talk about best wine. And I was reading that. I feel something in my spirit when I read that. I said, my. So I want to know how does that story represent God's love, for marriage? Trina, can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's not only God's marriage, but it's also in life. I'm not sure who on here knows the story, but when Jesus had turned the water to wine, Mary came over and, she told him that there was no wine left. So he instructed them to go get the water pots and to fill them up with water. And basically what I was describing is that the moral of the story is that the wine that he made was better than what was served the first time. And usually in those days, when you had wine at a wedding, you put out the weakest wine, or you put out the strongest wine first. Yeah. And you put out the weakest wine last, because everybody already drunk. They think that, this is good. But what Jesus did, right, exactly. But what Jesus did is, after they ran out of what they thought was the best wine, he told them to just give me the water and I'll turn it into something that is better. And what I equate that to is, if we would just give God what we have, it may not be perfection. You may come broken. You may come even a sinner, or whatever you determine to be a sinner or whatever. But if you give that to Jesus and let him have it, he will turn it into something great. And what happened in our marriage is, we gave God the fragment of our marriage, because we were broken. Not only were we broken as individuals, we were a broken couple. We didn't even understand ourselves. But what we had to do is turn over the remnant, turn over the fragment of what we had, and God put it back together and made it better than what it was when we first got married. The only reason why we can sit here today and still love each other and act like newlyweds is because we gave God what we were when we were messed up, and I mean jacked up, on our way to divorce. You couldn't tell us we wasn't getting no divorce. He had the papers, he had everything all filled out. And at that moment, I had a decision to make. Either I could go ahead and pressure him and let him get those papers in, so I could have my freedom, or I could say, God, I'm giving this to you, because you know that in my heart, this is not something that we want to do. So at that moment, we made a decision to say, no, we're going to turn this over to God. We're going to give him the fragments of what we have. And God made it into something whole.
Jesus.
So that's the wine I'm referring to.
Well, I'm reading these comments, and I need to hear this. Like, y'all helping somebody that feel like walking away, and and we trying to let you know that you don't have to. You don't have to. The scripture says the 3-strand cord is not easily broken.
That's right.
And I know we are always taught that third strand should represent Christ. So can you talk about why it's so important to have Christ at the center? A lot of times we try to bring Jesus in after we've already decided to marry somebody. We didn't ask him first. We've already, Jay, hi, I love you with all my heart. Hush. we bring Jesus in after we made our decision. It's kind of like my dad says to me when I come to him with something and I say, well, Dad, what do you think? And he already knows me. So he's like, well, what do you want me to say? You've already decided. Right. What you want to do. Don't we ask God to bless things once we've already kind of made a mess. So like, what is your viewpoint on having Christ at the center in the beginning of the marriage and of the relationship?
Well, I think that let's be transparent. One of the main reasons why we failed initially in marriage is because we didn't get good counsel. We weren't counseled wisely. As a matter of fact, we didn't get any counsel at all. We just got married. We went to the Justice of the Peace and got married. No counseling. No one told us what to do and what to expect. And the Bible says that Jesus is the wonderful counselor. You can't get counseled by anyone better than Jesus himself. The Bible also says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel
of the ungodly.
So if you allow yourself to be counseled by your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, or friends your friends that don't mean your marriage well, you can wind up going astray. But because we submitted our marriage to the wonderful counselor, he brought into our marriage what we needed to know, how to treat each other, how to walk uprightly. First of all, he changed our relationship with him. He made our focus about him, and then he turned our focus towards each other. But me as a man, I had to renew my relationship with Christ first. And once I renewed my relationship with Christ, he showed me what to do with my wife. So you have to have the right relationship with Christ.
When I made it right with Christ, he showed me.
And this is why I always tell women, because women seem to be the ones who fight for the marriage more. Like people always say, why is the wife always the one that's trying to reconcile the marriage? My thing is, if the wife can just turn or just show Jesus, be Jesus without even saying his name, be loving, be kind, even though you don't want to, even though you're hurt, you have to put on the character of Christ so that your spouse's heart can be turned towards Jesus. The Bible says to let our light shine so that men may see our good works and glorify the Father. So often women are trying to get their husbands to notice them. I wanted my husband to notice Jesus, because I knew that once he got at the feet of Jesus, Jesus would turn him back to me. So I admonish all the wives out there who are struggling, even husbands, I should say, that are struggling with a spouse that doesn't really seem like they care. Point them in the direction of Jesus. And I'm not saying go preaching to them. I'm not saying try to correct all their actions. I'm saying be loving, be kind, be patient, be forbearing, be everything that Jesus is to you, be to them, and they'll be attracted to that. And then once they get in the face of God, you ain't got to worry about it.
Jesus. Y'all. Wow. Whew. I just want to go back to one thing that JJ said. You said talking about communicating with others who don't mean your marriage no good. I think it's so. My mom always told me, do not complain about your husband to somebody who don't have one. Because the more you run your mouth about your man to somebody who don't have one, she's 900 years old. They're going to be, come on, kitty, kitty, come on, kitty, kitty. I hate that, but it's so true.
Come on, kitty, kitty. Come
on, kitty, kitty. But it's so true. You done talked about your man so to this person. Next thing you know, she texted him. You know, she DMing him. Your wife said, you want to talk? I know y'all going through. Y'all gotta watch. First of all, I feel like married people should have married friends.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now I'm not saying that you can't have no single friends, but I'm saying your marriage circle got to be bigger than your single circle.
I mean, people that you hang with hard should be married. I'm not talking about family, but people that you hang with hard should be married.
Right.
And let me share something that's going to be very real that many people may not be ready to hear or handle. More than likely, if there's going to be a cheating situation, it's going to be someone right near you. No one's going to go out searching to cheat. No one's going out looking for somebody to cheat with. So if somebody's going to have an affair or some kind of inappropriate relationship is going to happen, it's going to be with somebody that you're closely connected to. So you got to watch who you let in your circle, because that may be the person you wind up having an inappropriate relationship with. So I'm so careful about who I text, who I send direct messages to. If more than likely, unless it's somebody that we're already in covenant relationship with, I'm texting them with Trina on copy. Because not to say that I'm worried about her, worried about me. I'm not even worried about me, but I don't let the devil have any room.
Don't give him an inch.
Right.
That's so true.
And what I've learned is not only am I showing Trina that she has my full transparency, she has nothing to worry about, it also has a covering for me. I'm always covered. I'm never going to be in a situation where someone can say I said something inappropriate, because if I said it inappropriate, I said it to her and my wife.
Yes.
I've just believed that you have to make sure, especially in a day like today, that you're always covering yourself. Because again, nobody looks for an inappropriate relationship. When David cheated with Bathsheba, she was over,
minding her business,
trying to be clean.
But it was Uriah's wife, somebody his best friend's wife, somebody right near him. And in so many times going down, if you look in the word from the beginning to the end, you never see somebody going out looking for relationships. It was always somebody right in their circle. And it's still true today. You're going to wind up in a mess with somebody in your circle if you're not making sure you're accountable to your husband or your wife.
That is heavy. That is heavy. And I got to say, even the times where Trina does not travel, JJ is trustworthy. You don't see him up in no women's faces. You don't see nobody sneak into his room or anything like that. When we leave the venue, everybody leaves. JJ not staying behind. Matter of fact, JJ the first one to be like, all right, let's hit it. JJ is a man of integrity and honor, and I just appreciate that, because I would feel funny having a minister with somebody, and I always see you looking at some woman's face, and I know your wife is like, I can't even but you are a man of integrity. And Trina, the same with you. I've never seen anything wayward. Y'all love each other when nobody's looking, and that is what's important. Y'all have integrity when nobody is looking. And Trina, you said something in the book. You said, even if a mistress, now this made me jump in my spirit, in my belly. Even if a mistress has been involved in your marriage, they can never be a wife to your husband.
No.
But you think you're going to be the wife.
Right. You can't.
Because you gave up a little poo-poo. Because you busted wives. You can't be the wife.
But you know where that revelation came? I was watching Scandal, and I was watching how Olivia Pope thought she could handle Fitz. Yeah. But when she really got involved with Fitz, she saw that, wait a minute, maybe I really can't fit in Melly's shoes.
Right.
Maybe I really can't do this, because it's a little bit more complicated when you actually have to be that wife.
It's so
it's
true.
More than what it looks like. Yeah. It's a response. It's a calling. And everybody is not called to be a wife. Yeah. It's something that you have to do unselfishly. And if you're already in a selfish act by taking my man, I already know that you're not ready to be a wife. So for some of these mistresses who think that they can handle it, they will soon learn that once you start living with somebody really start getting to know the person, you will pick up on some habits and stuff like that you're not equipped to handle. Marriage takes a special grace. It takes a special aptitude to be married. That's what the word says. It's a special grace on it. So although you may look good, and to be truthfully honest, most of the time the mistresses don't even look as good as the wives. But maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, truth be told, you're not able to handle it. And once God sees that covenant as a marriage, you cannot successfully ever be his full wife, because God is looking at a covenant. You may be looking at it as a contract, a piece of paper. You get a lawyer, you could get out of contract. But God looks at it as a covenant. This is what God has joined together. That's why what God has joined together, no one is supposed to separate, because we can never do it right. How are you going to separate something God put together?
You can't do it.
It's never going to work. Never going to work. Yes.
That thing hit me when I read that. I said, my. So Jay, I want to ask you, how can a couple, because y'all have survived, I'm not, putting nobody's business out. It's in your book. You actually did an article in Essence, which was wonderfully written. It was really good. I loved it. And you kind of talked a little bit about that. So how can a couple survive infidelity? And I'm saying survive because obviously it's possible with you two. And I used to feel like when I first got married and before I got married, I said, that's my straw. That's going to break camel's back. God forbid that ever happen. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. But the longer I'm married, I'm like, God forbid that ever happen. I will want to fight for my marriage. First of all, I don't feel like learning nobody else.
Right.
I'm just going to be real. I don't feel like getting to know nobody.
Like, seriously.
Once you hit over 30, like 38, 39, it's like, once I've been in this too long, I ain't got time.
What do you kill somebody? It's all right. It's just
no. I'm not even interested enough to know you like that to be able to get to marry you.
I'm not like, it's too many crazies out here. It's the whole dating game is just completely different. I'm sorry, single folk. We're not trying to scare y'all, but
we're gonna help y'all in a minute too.
Yeah. We're gonna hook y'all up. But I'm just saying, me personally, I don't have the energy to learn anyone else. So I would want to try to fight. And also I got a child, and I just feel like God can mend things. And JJ, you said that in the article where people were kind of pushing y'all to divorce. And okay, we're singing about God is a healer, God's a deliverer. Why y'all not telling me that God can, heal this marriage? So what are some steps or some ways that couples can survive infidelity? It's not over.
So for me, and because we experienced it in some form or fashion on both sides, right? For me, I had to learn that forgiveness is something you have to take responsibility for. I say all the time, I used to be proud of the fact that I didn't forgive. I mean, I used to shout from the mountaintops,
That's so funny to me. That shouldn't be, but it's funny.
You mess up
I don't like you, don't forgive you, still hate you.
Right? 10 years later, still hate you.
But what I had to realize was, how dare I not give her the forgiveness that I needed from her?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn how to forgive.
Jay, can you say that one more time? Just one more time for the people in the back.
How dare I not forgive her and I needed forgiveness from her.
Yeah.
I had to finally admit it. So that was something I had to learn how to forgive. I had to learn how to be accountable. Like that accountability I was talking about. Let me tell you, for anybody that's ever messed up, you have to give your spouse a reason to trust you again. Now, as much as we want to say, oh, well, I said sorry, you should know, that you have to build trust.
That's not enough. That's
trust
true.
is a building, it's not a door. I'm going to say it again. Trust is a building, it is not a door. It's not something you can just walk through. It's something you build up.
Melissa's so stupid.
Continue.
I'll write that down.
No, and I've realized that it's not just a door you just walk through. So I had to build trust again. And what did I do to build trust? Every tool that was used to communicate with anybody outside of our marriage, I gave to her. So every code to phones, every checking account number.
See? Give up the password.
Give everything. Yeah. So every account, everything, and not only that, I had to give my time. Meaning this, like if I had to be somewhere an hour away, I would be on my cell phone, put it on speaker, and we would talk all the way till I got home. When we got in the house, here we are.
Yeah.
That was so she could know that you can trust me. Anywhere where I was that made her uncomfortable, I didn't go anymore. These are things I had to do to build trust.
This is so good.
Yeah.
And once her trust was built in me, I didn't have to be as careful about every move I made, but I owed it to her to build my trust. I owed her to build that building up again. I couldn't expect to just walk through the door and all of a sudden now we just trust each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing to add to that, I don't know if you were going to ask me, but I'm going to add it. So I think that what I was going to say is that you can't rush anybody's process. Like the whole forgiveness process, you can't be like, oh, well, we've been through that. Like that was last month. Why are you still upset about it? No.
You still on that? That's so true.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be able to walk with that person hand in hand until they've gained that respect and gained that trust back. And that may not happen in your time frame, but it's not fair for you to say, well, you should be over it by now.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not. As long as it took for the affair to happen, it may take for our relationship to be repaired. But you have to be willing to go along with that person every step of the way until they get there.
And the last thing I would say is you have to overpower your thoughts. Overpower your thoughts, because if you're not careful, every minute you will think and rehearse what was done to you.
Oh my God.
That was my problem.
So right.
Yeah, I remember that. Like,
get out your head.
That's why the Bible says casting down imagination, because you actually have to take control of your imagination. There were things that I didn't know that I imagined. I know it went like this. I know you said that.
And then mad at me at what was in his head. Like, are you serious?
You mad at me for something you created?
Yes.
That I was not a part of?
Yes.
Right.
But that's so true, though. That's so true.
Yeah. So you have to overpower your thoughts, and you have to tell yourself, I'm not going to reprocess this every day. Because what you're doing is you're keeping it fresh. We were arguing about stuff that happened 10 years ago, and I'm like, and remember you said, because I was rehearsing the thought. I was overprocessing it. I just kept it going. So finally, I had to say, you know what? We're not going to do this anymore. I'm letting it go. I told her one day, she didn't believe me. I said, you know what? We're not going to argue about that no more. And it was about something I was mad at her about. I said, we're not going to do this anymore. And from that day, we have not argued anymore about that. Now, I felt it, but I had to tell myself, I'm not going to rehearse this today.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah.
And then once I did that, it not only freed her from it, it freed me from it, because I was hurting more from it than she was. So when you're rehearsing those thoughts, you're keeping the hurt fresh. But once you cancel it, you're able to let it go.
Yeah.
When you're rehearsing those thoughts, you're keeping the hurt.
And you're keeping that person, that mistress, that whoever in your life.
Yeah.
You're inviting that person mentally into your life. As long as you keep those thoughts in your head, it's like you're inviting that spirit to still reside among you.
See,
and even though the person may not be physically there, the spirit is still there because you're keeping it fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I know that would be me. If God forbid that happened in my marriage, right? I know me. Okay, I'm saying, okay, if I say I'm going to work it out with you, okay, fine. But I'll know, I'll be bringing it up. I'll say we're gonna work it out, and I know that's not right. You can't keep bringing this thing up over. If you're gonna forgive, you're gonna forgive. But me, I know me. Every time I think about, oh, you pouring milk? Did you pour milk with that heifer? Like, oh, you're breathing. Did you breathe with that heifer? See, that's what I would be doing. And I know that's not right. Like, my thought is, okay, if I'm gonna stay with you, I'm gonna make your life hell for 6 months, and that ain't the Lord. That's not right.
It's not,
you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna forgive, you have to forgive and let it go. So,
especially if you already decided to stay together. Because if you're gonna stay together, why stay together and be miserable? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're gonna forgive, let's repair the marriage by canceling your thoughts. Again, overpower your thoughts and forgive each other truly. Not just forgive, but I'm not gonna forget. That's the stuff that don't work.
So the responsibility is on both parties. The responsibility of forgiveness is not only the victim's responsibility, but it is also the culprit's responsibility. You both have to decide to forgive.
That is like huge.
It takes time. I don't want anybody to think that it happens overnight. Our process was years. It was not, and we were together, but the process.
And we didn't know.
No.
And you wouldn't know.
And that's the thing that I love. Nobody was putting subs on social media about the other, like an immature fool. Nobody, that y'all weren't arguing on the engagements and all that. And y'all probably had some heated fellowships before y'all came out. But we did not know. And that is what I appreciate. That is how you maturely handle conflict in a marriage. I look at my bishop, my first lady. I know they're my parents, so I know that they fuss. I know that they have arguments and things like that. But when Sunday comes, she's screaming and shouting and saying preach and all this kind of stuff. Now when they get in the car, that might be another story. But when she's in front of the people of God,
that's right.
She don't say a bad. She'll never say a bad thing about him. She'll never look at him crazy. She'll never try to make him feel less than. She's always going to be supportive, 100%. And that's what I love about y'all. We never knew. I mean, travel for years. That's why when I got the book, I'm like, well, Lord, where was I at? I never seen none of this.
So here's the fortunate thing. A lot of this happened when we were much younger in our marriage. So social media wasn't like popping in and stuff like that.
Right.
Thank God, because like around, once 2005 hit, things kind of shifted for me musically, but that's because our marriage had changed. But here's the thing, for those marriages, even now,
wait a minute, I gotta stop you. You said my music shifted, but that's because my marriage changed. And I just want people to know, when you deserve, like, you were already like doing it. Like, everybody knew who JJ Hairston was, pretty much from, Awesome Guy, everybody knew who YP was. Okay, probably before a record before that, I don't know, but that was huge. I know before I sang with y'all, all I knew was Awesome God, we use the praise. So we were already traveling, doing things like that. But when You Deserve It came out, it just went to a whole nother stratosphere. And what you're telling me is things changed when your marriage got better.
Absolutely. It was.
Y'all hear that?
On
it was 2005. It was.
Yeah.
It was the Incredible God record.
Jay said, "Y'all hear that?
y'all hear that?
Tell it, Jade.
So literally, I tell this story all the time. Our marriage was in shambles. I mean, completely in shambles. There was no social media then, thank God, so nobody really knew. But in 2005, I was at a women's conference. Cheryl Brady was preaching. And I had to lead worship. Now, our marriage is tore up. I had to lead worship at a women's conference. None of it makes sense.
Of all places.
None of it makes sense.